Yes, Boston College brought in 26 transfers, but there's a number of freshmen that are going to need to step up if Boston College is going to rebound in 2026.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Locked On Boston College, your team every day. I'm your host, AJ Black of Eagle Insider, part of the 247 Network. I've been covering Boston College for over a decade. If you're looking for Boston College news, analysis, and details on your Eagles, you are in the right place. Locked On Boston College is a free daily Boston College podcast available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Mazda. We put the same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. There's more to Mazda because there's more to you. On today's show, hockey dominates the Beanpot. They destroy Harvard. We'll talk about what happened there. But I want to get into the true freshmen because right now at Boston College, there's a number of new faces. It's interesting. You see BC football putting out this, their graphics and pictures and videos of the football players at the basketball game. And, they have the title supporting their Eagles and whatever. I looked at the picture and I feel like you guys probably feel sometimes like I'm a nerd. I get it. Like I know BC really, really well, and I know the players and all that stuff. But I'm looking at these players that they're showing off at the basketball game, and I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. Like I could not tell you. They're showing face. I'm like, I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. And the reason is there's almost 50 new players, both freshmen and transfers, coming on campus right now. Now we have talked a ton about those transfers. If you want to go back. We're talking about impact transfers, players that we think we're going to step up, intriguing ones like and analysis on each one. Just go back in our archives on YouTube. You'll find them, right? I've not dove in yet to the true freshmen because there's 8 true freshmen that are already early enrollees, and there will be another 14 or 15 that are coming over the summer. Now, every year, last year included, a number of true freshmen step up. They fill roles, and when injuries or they're just really good, they come in and they play. 2 years ago, it was Turbo Richard. Last year, we saw TJ Green play quite a bit. We saw Dawson Pugh, and the list goes on and on. This year, you're looking and you're wondering who are going to be the true freshmen that are going to step up for a variety of reasons this season. And there's going to be a few names in this discussion that you may surprise you because maybe you're thinking, we're not going to see that guy this year, but maybe we will. The first name I want to talk about is one I don't talk about a lot, and that's Dajon Green. Dajon Green is from my favorite town in Oklahoma because I just love saying the name, Choctaw, Oklahoma. And I probably messed it up and someone's going to yell at me for it, but whatever. He's a safety. And this was one that I was really excited that they kept because near the end, there was a lot of schools looking at him. He had a bunch of schools that were pushing, like West Virginia was trying to push for him, and I believe there's another school that was pushing for him. And he stayed true. And that was good for BC because I believe his initial recruiter was Ray Brown, who was gone 2 seasons ago. And so they were, and then they lost, their defensive coordinator. They lost on the field. He's still stuck with them. He is a 6-foot tall safety. And I look at the safety position. And I look at the needs of the safety position right now. You have KP Price, right? He is going to be your starting strong safety. That you can write that one in ink. Unless there's an injury that happens and knock on everything that will not. Price is going to be your leader on your defense. He's going to be out there. It's that second safety position that has me questioning what and who is going to play there. I think Carter Davis probably would be the favorite right now. Like they moved him over to cornerback last year, but that was because that position was absolutely decimated with injuries and they just had nobody left. But I would think, and other people may agree, coaches may say, you're wrong here, but I would feel like he would probably be the most logical spot for that second safety, for the free safety position. And then there's other guys that could jump up that they have on their roster, guys like Marcellus Townsend and, there's some other underclassmen. But I look at a guy like Dajon Green, and the secondary is always a position, it seems like every single year. We're talking about a new player jumping up and starting or playing significant snaps. 2 years ago, it was Ashton McShane, who's now at Liberty. He jumped in and played because there was an injury to Amari Jackson. This year, it was TJ Green because there was an injury to Cameron Martinez. There was injuries to Amari Jackson, so you saw Ashton Cunningham playing. You saw Marcellus Townsend play a little bit. Like, they were trying to, it's just a position that for some reason, and it's interesting because, and I love to talk to a coach about this because it seems to me it's a very nuanced position and a tough position to play, but it always seems like there's freshmen playing there. So I look at the safety spot, and I'm thinking Dajon Green would be a perfect spot. Now, the other freshman he's an early enrollee. The other freshman early enrollee at that position could also be there, and it's all going to be based on. And I think this is what we'll see during spring practice. Who is getting further along and learning the defense, learning Ted Roof's defense, and that would be Jordan Green from St. Peter's Prep in New Jersey. Now, Jordan Rodriguez is another safety, and he is one of the ones that you landed that had a very solid offer list that included Duke and Georgia Tech, and there were a lot of people looking at him. Now he is 6', he's the same size as Green, and he could easily be someone who jumps in. So I always have this eye for defensive backs. Now, you may think the other question is, like, could a later enrollee jump up and play? And sure, you brought in DJ Biggins, not DJ Biggins, excuse me, Gerald Green, who is going to also be a cornerback. You have there's another. I think that's it. Xavier Myers. Xavier Myers is the other late one. I'm not sure about those guys. And hey, anything can happen, right? But in terms of just true freshmen in the secondary, I look more at that safety spot. I'm wondering, and I'm not sure who's going to be a strong safety versus a free safety. And we'll have to wait to see how they kind of fit in their roles. And honestly, given that you do have other players, like if Carter Davis is going to be that safety, you're probably not going to see them a lot. But again, I go back to, we learned last year what happens when there's an injury. Bad things happen. And then guys are just forced up that they're forced in a lot faster than many other times that you may think. And, you brought in Cam Howard and, Chandler Jordan. Both of those guys could project out to be safeties. Cam Howard definitely is a safety. That's the kid from Alabama. But these two freshmen, I think, could also be names that could bounce around in there too as well. Now, in a moment, let's look at a few other spots that I think a true freshman could jump in and why I think they could be a big impact for next year. I'll explain who those are in just a moment. This is Boss is moving the game forward for those who showed there's more to score than on the screen. Now let's talk about our friend Dean Letourneau. Now, my favorite story of the year, Dean Letourneau just had 5 points in the Beanpot. 5 after all of last year where he was just struggling up and down, could not score. He has become the spark plug for BC hockey. And he has been, they've just beat Harvard. They're going to be heading to the championship. And this is because of guys like Letourneau. This reminds us of what it really takes to raise the bar. It's that extra work off the rink. You're dialing in every detail, giving it that extra fire, that grit, and I never quit. We put the same passion into every model. Highlights make the reel. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to Mazda because there's more to you. Locked On Boston College, AJ Black here. And I want to, you guys are all, if you're listening to this, it's off season. I get a sense many of you are everydayers. And everydayer is someone who listens to Locked On Boston College every single day. You want to get your news, your scoops. And I got a new feature for you and a new club that you need to be part of called our Everydayer Club. Now, our Everydayer Club is 2 tiers. The basic tier get you ad-free shows. You don't have to listen to me to read ads. You get access to our Discord group chat, which is all BC fans, basically like your group chat with your friends, but all BC fans. How cool is that, right? And some other perks. And then there is the all access tier. You get access to our First Cup with AJ. That's our 10-minute bonus episode every day. You'll get one later this afternoon from me. You will get access to text messages from me. You get texting with me if you want to ask me questions, you want to get scoops from me. It's all there. You get 15% off Locked On merchandise if you ever wanted to try that out. You get the Discord channel. You get everything. All you have to do is sign up. Details are below. It's a great opportunity to get more Boston College content, dive deeper into BC sports like I know you do want to. So I hope you sign up today. All right. We're talking about true freshmen that could step up for BC this upcoming season. And I'm really looking at these early enrollees. And there's one position specifically that I think got hit late in the transfer portal that is going to force BC to maybe be a little bit more they're going to have to be creative with their depth chart, and that is defensive tackle. Now, go back a couple weeks, Owen Stodmeyer, who I thought was staying, entered the transfer portal at the 11th hour, like very, very late, to the point where BC already had classes started. I don't think they could even bring anybody in because it was just so late. And so they're a little bit behind the eight ball. Now, I have to preface this by saying there's still because the portal's closed, it just means BC players can't enter the portal. BC could still go out and get a player. Classes have started. They just probably would have to enroll in the summer. But I don't see them right now bringing anybody in for the spring, which gives the freshmen coming in an opportunity to play early. And now there's two defensive tackles that you want to keep your eye on. The first one is Jackson Carlisle from Central Alabama. If you ever watched, if you haven't seen him yet, he does not look like a college freshman. He looks like a NFL sized player. He's big. He's 6'3", 300 pounds, but built. And he's from Alabama, right? So, I'm a little bit biased towards guys that have played down south because it's a different style of football down there because it's big. And Carlisle was that. Now, he was one of their MVPs on Central's defense last year. He's an early enrollee. He was under the radar. This is an under the radar recruit. Like some of the guys I just talked about, Rodriguez and Green, they had they had offer lists and Power 4 schools looking at him. Carlisle, either he did and we didn't hear about it, or he was under the radar. Now he's on campus early, and he is, going to have that opportunity because they lost Quan Williams, they lost Owen Stodmeyer, they lost Ed McConnell, and Ty Clemens. So your starting 4 defensive tackles are all gone. They're the 4 that you went with the most. They're all gone, either by graduation or the transfer portal. You're going to need new guys to step in. Now, they brought in KJ Sampson from Florida State. That's a start, right? They brought in Christian Bishop from Colorado, but he's a youngin', right? You have guys that are looking to step up, whether it's Mekhi Byerson or Chris Marable Jr., Chuck Nato. There's a bunch of guys that could jump in, but I think this is going to be an opportunity for true freshmen to jump in, and that could give someone like Jackson Carlisle a chance. Now, I'm not sure. It's always tricky where they're at in terms of like strength because it's a big strength position. Like defensive tackles need to be super strong versus just big, right? Like some guys, you gotta admit, some high school kids that are going to come in are big, like 300 pounds, but it's a different 300 pounds than, that you'd had with like BJ Raji, who was just massive, right? Like you need a different style of weight. So as a true freshman, we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens there. But he's not the only true freshman defensive tackle enrolling early. And this is the name that I'm very interested to see where he goes. And that's Cameron McGee. Cameron McGee was the very late defensive tackle addition from Grayson, Georgia, one of the powerhouses in college and high school football. That Kenyatta Watson, this was the first strike that Kenyatta Watson made as the general manager for BC football. McGee had an offer list that was huge. He took official visits to Auburn and Alabama, and there was other big SEC schools all looking at him. He had, you name a school, they offered him. BC jumped in late, got him, and brought him in. Now he is he's a big kid too. And I look at him, and I'm going to try to get his height and weight right now for you. He's 6'3", 330 pounds. That is massive, right? And, obviously just like I said for Carlisle, this is a kid that played for a big-time program. And so he knows what playing bigger football is like. It's not like going from, no offense, but playing like, Zavarian to playing Zavarian is tough, but playing Grayson versus, some of those Georgia schools, that's Buford or whatever, that's a whole other ball game down there. It's a different sport. So he's coming from there. He's an early enrollee. He is huge. Which again, I don't know. Is it good weight, bad weight? Not my place to guess. We'll have to wait to see where that kind of rolls out there. But those are two right there. Now you have two other defensive tackles coming this summer too. You have Mac Fitzgerald, that's the son of Craig Fitzgerald, the strength and conditioning coach from CM, and you have Gavin Neal from Illinois. Both of these guys could be good too. I'm talking about, I have a special affinity to early enrollees in terms of playing, and they're going to have that chance because really you have a bunch of guys that are still developing there. Guys like, Mekhi Byerson, you didn't see a whole lot of him last year, and Chuck Nadeau. Or you could have impact freshmen jump in or transfers. Like all of these, it is a lot of opportunities there. So defensive tackle right now, and again, it could change if they go out and grab a transfer that comes in the summer. But right now, I think that's a good spot where freshmen could really jump in. And I have two final freshmen that are going to jump in and talk about really quickly here. The first one is Cedric Addison, running back from Georgia, from Peachtree Ridge, Georgia. You lost Jordan McDonald, you lost Turbo Richard and Alex Broom. You brought in Nolan Ray from Maryland and Evan Dickens from Liberty. So those are your two transfers. But I still look behind them and say it's an open race for that third running back spot. Bo McCormick definitely probably is the leader going in. He's a redshirt freshman from BB&N from last year. Played a lot on special teams last year. I know the staff really like him. He was impressive during camp too. He definitely would be a leader. And Mekhi Dodd, we didn't get a chance to really see. And during camp, I didn't see a whole lot of him either. Like it was just kind of quiet. But he could, sometimes it's that year 1 to year 2 jump, and it's like boom, he's off. But what one position has BC consistently used true freshmen at? It has been the running back spot. They've done that over and over again. Whether we saw McCormick start out there last year, the first couple of games he played quite a bit. Didn't really work that well. Like he struggled. Year before, Turbo played a lot as a true freshman, and you could go backwards. A lot of freshmen, they just play. So I look at Addison, another guy who I talk about, like has a huge offer list. He's bigger, I think he's like 6'5'11", 200 pounds. So he's about the size of Turbo, a little bit taller than Turbo, but still built. And if he's ready to go, you might see him play. I could see it. Like and running back's a physical position. Like guys just are going to go down. Like you're going to need a guy like Cedric Addison to play. So he's one. And my last one is the biggest surprise. And I'm going to say this right now. I'll throw it out there. There's always the chance, and it may not happen, that this year your quarterback could be Femi Bambolo. Now, Femi, my personal opinion from everything I've read and heard is he probably needs time to develop. But what if he comes on up and they find out he's a wonderkin and he's picking things up quick? Like he's a fast learner, he's picking up that offense, he's electric, he's making big plays. Like that could happen. So there's always a chance he could play. I thought last year going into the season that Shaker Rising would not play a role. And he did. He played, 3 games, 4 games. And I could see Femi doing the exact same thing this year. And the quarterback position to me is still a question mark. I know the staff feels really strongly about Mason McKenzie, and there's probably something that I'm missing that they love about him. And then there's Grayson Wilson, who's basically, and someone had shout out to whoever framed this to me this way. Basically, he's literally what you brought in with Dylan Larnigan a year ago, except he's much more mobile, like a younger player who hasn't played yet, but has high upside. So you have those two options. They could both work. I just see Femi. There's something there. And I know the staff, when he was being recruited, he was one I heard about a ton. Like they love this kid. He may not have been the highest rated recruit, but there was a ton of schools looking at him. Like Dion wanted him at one point. And BC was able to keep him because there's something special there. He's huge. He's 6'4", 220 pounds. That's a big kid, and he can run. So there's something there. And if that something pops early, BC's going to have to play him. Like if he goes out there and like they're finding out, like, I don't want to say like Drake May, but like a bigger running a quarterback that can throw and run, and he can do it accurately, he may see the field faster than we think. So he was one I wanted to throw out there. Now, in our final segment, I got the hockey shirt going on here because BC hockey, they went out there and they beat up Harvard. We'll talk about the Beanpot and another big win for BC hockey in just a moment. Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually help your business move forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is the move, because instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your specific criteria, like skills, certifications, and location. If I were hiring, I wouldn't just want someone who can help. I'd want someone with real experience who can jump right in. Like my site, I want writers that know what they're doing. I'm looking for those. I don't want to have to hold hands. I want someone who knows it. And with Indeed, you get specific and target exactly what you need. It saves time because you're spending less energy sorting through mismatches. And with sponsored jobs, your posts get seen by candidates who are actually a fit. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours has made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. Locked On Boston College, AJ Black here of Eagle Insider. If you're looking for a second listen, let me tell you about Locked On ACC with Kenton Gibbs and Alex Dono. They're talking all things ACC, and with the busy off season ahead of us, they have it all. Check it out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. So let's talk about the Beanpot. Now, it's hockey season. It's trophy season for all Boston College fans. You know what I'm talking about. The Beanpot has been elusive for Boston College, who haven't won it since 2016. Now, they've been in the finals a bunch of times. They have not been able to finish it off. Now, they took their first step on Monday night, the first Monday in February. It's Groundhog's Day. It's also Beanpot semifinals. BC had to face Harvard, probably the best team in the tournament that they hadn't played yet. And Harvard was going to be a tougher matchup for them. It didn't seem it, though, watching them on the ice, because BC hockey took it to Harvard. They won 5-1 and were in control of this game from the first period. They were up 3-0 going into the second period, and you had James Hagens have an amazing game. I think he had 5 points. You had Dean Letourneau, who also, again, the Dean Pot, right? He had 5 points. Yeah, Luca Claudier only let up 1 goal. Like, they were on their game in this one, and they just dominated. Andre Gassot had his 100th and 101st point. And Oscar Hemming, true freshman, showed why he's like, this is a huge, again, I said it when he was here, this kid is huge, and he's scoring for BC. He had 2 points in this game. Everyone was chipping in. It was a complete game, complete team win for BC, and an exciting one because they look like after watching the night game, they look very much like the best team in the Beanpot, and they're that much closer to winning the whole thing. And who are they going to play? They're going to play the team they smoked earlier this weekend, BU. So BC beat BU. I think it was a 4-1 at Agganis Arena. BU beat Northeastern in a shootout in the evening game. So this is going to be a rematch next week. Now, that's awesome, because anytime you get BC and BU, especially in the Beanpot finals, that's electric. And B, I'm glad it's not Northeastern. For some reason, Northeastern has always had BC's number of recently in the Beanpot, and BC just showed that they match up very well with BU. So you have to think they're the favorites. You have to think that BC obviously still has to play very well to win this game, but this makes you feel like they're heading in the right direction, and that maybe next weekend we could do our first bit of celebrating with a little bit of hardware. Now, if you're not a BC fan and this is your first time checking out BC hockey, the Beanpot is a hockey battle between four Boston-based teams: Harvard, Northeastern, BU, and BC. It's been played for years at TD Garden, and I know some of you guys already know this, but it's awesome. If you have not checked it out yet, you have to. It was on my bucket list. I went before my kids were born, so like 10 years ago, and I mentioned Northeastern beating BC. I ended up buying tickets. I got the only tickets I could find, and I was stuck in the Northeastern zone with all Northeastern kids, and Northeastern beat BC. So, but if you have not gone, the Beanpot needs to be on your bucket list, man, because it was a blast. It was so much fun. And shout out to the students who showed up. It was loud. It was, from everything I heard and saw, it sounded like it was much more tilted towards BC than Harvard. You'll need that again next weekend, and I'm sure the students will be crazy there for that game. So a big win. They needed this as the first step into what could be an exciting next couple months for BC hockey, and we'll talk more about it as it goes along. Well, thank you all for joining me. My name's AJ Black. You can follow me at AJ Black 247. Check us out. Become part of our Everydayers Club. Join me on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. Just find AJ Black on there. You'll know you'll see my face on there, and I hope to see you all there soon for another episode of Locked On Boston College, your team every day.